Hi my loves, how's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. It's time for my monthly beauty empties for August. I don't actually have that much because it was a bit of a slow month. I wasn't really routining, I wasn't really doing a lot of things, but there was also a lot of new products, like brand new products in my routines. So like those will obviously take me a good couple of months to use up. However, I still managed to get some things empty. There's also one product I actually finished last month, but I just forgot to add in there somehow, so I'll talk about that today as well. If you like these types of videos, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, follow me over on my other socials, which are all linked in my description box. But let's just dive right into the empties video. Okay, so as always, it's the same box that I have of empties. They're literally like rolling around because there's not much in here. I will just start off with the empty that I was supposed to talk about last month, and basically it is this Beauty Bay eyeshadow stick, but this is in the shade Mad Hatter Face, which ended up, I don't even know if you guys can sort of like see that, if that is visible in any capacity. I hope it is, but it ended up being the perfect sort of shade as like an under eye corrector for me. And at the time I was trying to like be really good in my no buy. Spoiler alert, it didn't really go that well because I've broken it several times, but that's just what like the sort of shade looks like. It was like perfect for my under eyes at the time when I needed it, and it works really well because you can't really see. Obviously I'm using something else today, but like it was giving me some effect to what I have now, and I really like that. I have really dark circles, and there's not really I can do about that because it is hereditary too. Like it's part of the genetics. My mom has it, I think my nan had it too, and it's just something that I have as well. There's nothing I can really do about it. I don't really feel comfortable doing any like skin procedures near my eye. I'm really nervous to do that, especially like any type of filler. But yeah, I use this up. It took me a while to use it, and I'd been using it for like several months, and I was really glad because I was never going to use this shade on my eye. I just don't really feel like this is something that I would have personally gravitated towards. Also, I've had coloured hair for some time as well, which meant that there's a lot of colours that wouldn't necessarily work together, and they clash, and this is just one of the colours I would never use. I forgot to mention as well, I have changed my hair. I just filmed another video, but that one isn't going to go out until like several weeks, but like this one will go out first. So this is my new hair. I'm just having a bit of a difficult time styling it today because it's like day 2 of unwashed hair, but I've used so much product, it's just not wanting to like calm down and let me look good. But I'll insert a video or a picture somewhere of what the hair looks like, or I'll just post a shorts if you guys want. I used up this, and I'm really glad I did because I wouldn't have used up any other way, and then this would have ended up being decluttered. So I'm glad I found another UA to use this product up. So for actual empties now for the month of August, like I said, there's not much, but I still have a decent chunk. First things first is this pack of wipes. I literally buy these from Aldi. These are the Lacura ones. I think they have like 3 different ones. So this one's a dry skin. They've got one for sensitive skin and have a third one. So there's this pink one, a green one, and a blue one. I don't really care which ones I end up with. I just pick up a couple of them each time I go out, and I tend to use them up like 1 pack a month roughly, and these are really good. They're very cheap, but they're really, really good, and these are the best wipes I found so far. Another like much cheaper alternative would just be baby wipes because you can get shit ton in 1 packet, and that might be something that you prefer more. But I am somebody that has to like clean off the makeup off my hands, otherwise it just gives me the ick, and I just can't. And I feel like if I even try to wash it off, it doesn't always come off. So like I first need to actually take makeup wipes to clean it off. One product I'm really surprised about that I finished, but I also really enjoyed, is this Christoph Robin Colour Shield Cleansing Mask. I was using this when I had like the pink hair, and it was like all pink. I've actually cut most of my hair off now. There's only just like these little ends that have like hints of pink, but I'm not really that bothered about the colour on there because I can easily re-dye it whenever I want to, and it's the tiniest bit of colour, so it's fine. I just end up using this as like a conditioner. So after I shampooed my hair, I would literally use this as a conditioner and then wash it out, and then I'm good. And you know what, it's actually very soft, and it really helped my hair feel nice. These also smell kind of good too. I've used a lot of Christoph Robin products over the last several years, and it's always been because I've ended up with those products through Look Fantastic. Whether that's a beauty box, whether that's an advent calendar, whether it's a free gift purchase, any sort of thing like that, I've always ended up with some form of a Christoph Robin product. And I've tried a fair few of their products. I really enjoyed this. I'll be picking up other products. Right now I don't really care about this color on my hair. It doesn't really bother me because it's only a tiny chunk and it's right at the end. I'm more than happy to go ahead and not pick up any more specific products for color, but I'd try anything from his line or their line really. And I know that their shampoos, their conditioners, their leave-in treatments, in the past they've all worked really, really well for me, and I think I would like to try them at some point, obviously when they're on like some kind of a sale, because I'm still like struggling with finances. But like, that being said, it would be nice to sort of try something else from this brand, but obviously something that's like more like a full-size product rather than the little tiny like samples that you'd get through those like beauty boxes or gift purchase or whatever. But this is a nice product. A body product I used up was the CeraVe Salicylic Acid Smoothing Cream. I have literally cut it so I can use up everything that's inside. Like, it's all done, it's empty, and I'm so glad for it too. I did start noticing a difference on my legs when I did use this product. I have KP on my upper arms and on my legs, and as frustrating as it is, I've not really found anything in the past that worked. This did a decent job. The First Aid Beauty one that's just like somewhere behind here, I'll like highlight a picture somewhere, is also really, really good. And I've been using this and I'm so glad I have used it up. I've also got a tub just behind me here as well now of this product, so I can't wait to continue using this and seeing more progress. There are other products that I've heard that work a lot better than this and can work faster than this, but because I already had these in my arsenal, I really wanted to get these used up. I don't really remember when I bought this, but I know that I've had it for some time. This was part of my beauty, I think. It's my, I think, 50 Shades of Black project pan, I think. So that an update for that is going to be needed this month, because there's quite a few empties that were part of that project pan. But yeah, I'm really glad I was able to use this up. It did take me some time because in between it got really, really hot, so I just had to stop using body lotions because it was so humid here and I just did not want to bother with that. But yeah, I'm just glad I was able to use up a body lotion because for some reason I have so many. Another hair product that I had, and I'm so glad I was able to use this up, is this from Beauty Bay. This is the hair serum, which is supposed to smooth and shine. It's got vitamin C and grapeseed oil in it. I didn't really like this. I didn't really think it did anything for my hair, but it was just like they're collecting dust. So I had to roll it out into my 50 Shades of Black project pan, and that's the only way I was able to literally use this up. I will not repurchase this again. I don't personally like a lot of the Beauty Bay like body, skin and hair care products. I don't really think that they're great. However, their makeup is really, really good. Like, if you want in really affordable makeup, I would say try out Beauty Bay, especially the eyeshadow palettes, because they're really good quality. You can get a lot of eyeshadow for like a pretty good price, and they tend to have a load of sales on anyway on their own products. So you can get some of the like big palettes, which are 42 shades, for like £10 sometimes, and it's a crazy offer, and it's literally all you could probably need. Like, there's several different neutral palettes. You've got the pink, the greens, the blue palettes. There's other palettes that they have as well that you can really just get your use out of, and I would really recommend their makeup over their like other products. I'm just so glad I've used this up. I don't know why it took me so long to use it up, but I think I've really had to like push myself to use up a lot of hair products this year, and the only way I could do that was through putting them in a project pan, because otherwise I wouldn't have taken it seriously. So I'm so glad that this is also done. A product that I kept forgetting about, again, this is like the same situation for most things, was these facial radiance pads from First Aid Beauty, and I think they were okay. I don't really think they did anything great for my skin. There wasn't really something that's like, I wasn't seeing like a big difference or anything like that. I have tried other products from this brand and I have really enjoyed them. By the time I did get around to using this was also pretty old. Like, I'd had it for probably about a year, maybe longer than that. But I think this was definitely like a 2024 product, and I think I did have it in my collection before, like in the first half of the year. So it's obviously been over a year since I had this product, and it's just, yeah, it wasn't all that, but I'm just glad I was able to use this up, because literally it was just there all the time and it kept falling around and it was getting on my nerves. Then one day I just literally ripped the packet open and was like, I'm gonna use this up, and I did, and I'm glad I did that. Finally used up the third jar of this Boots Deep Moisturizing Foot Cream with mint, lavender and marshmallow. I got this as an accident. It was like a 10 £10 Tuesday, whatever it was, and I did not realise there's 4 of these for £10, and I was supposed to remove it. I forgot to remove it. Ended up just buying it. When I got this, I was like, oh, I don't remember like keeping that in there. Anyway, I did because, you know, dumb. But this is the third one I've used up. It's not the best product I've used. I feel like I've used other products, like just hand creams, that have worked better than whatever this is. So in my personal opinion, I wouldn't really recommend this, and I would not repurchase it ever again. I have one more of these, which is this is just behind my big head, that I'm now in the process of using. Like I literally just cracked it open this week, so it would be really nice to finally have these done, and I'm so glad I'm on the last one, because there was a point when I was thinking, I don't know how the hell I'm going to use this up. Also, my feet just are really dry, so I need something that's a little bit more heavy duty than whatever the hell this is. And I don't think this has many like great reviews. I don't even know if they still sell it anymore. I hope they don't, because I need to take it back to the lab. But yeah, I'm glad that at least 3's done, and I've only got 1 more left, which I can definitely do before the end of the year. I used up 2 sunscreens this month, and I'm very proud of myself. So the first one I used up was the Supergoop Glow sunscreen. This is the shade Sunrise, and this is a nice product to an extent. Because I have oily skin, I don't feel like Supergoop's sunscreens work on me, whereas I think if you had dry to normal skin, they'd work really well for you. This is a good sort of like shade match for my skin, in terms of I could put this on, and if I went ahead just did powder, I did like blush and did like my eyeshadow, that would be enough coverage for me. As in, it would give me like enough coverage, but enough that it still looks like I've got something on my skin, and it would have looked really nice. Would I necessarily go back out and buy this again? No. I think the only time I'll probably do that is if my skin changes and goes from oily to like normal, because these products get really oily on me, and it's just really annoying. And I don't know, I'm a bit nervous to try and keep buying these, because I remember one time I was wearing Supergoop sunscreen to work, and it got really greasy, and the lady goes, you look like you're perspirating. And I was like, huh? Yeah, she's like, you look like you're perspirating, are you okay? And I was like, oh, it's just sunscreen. And yeah, I just never bought it again. That was a very embarrassing experience. Very embarrassing, because there's more than one customer who told me like, girl, you okay, because you're like sweating. And I'm like, it's my sunscreen, I don't know what to do. Yeah, that was like mad embarrassing, but I'm glad I don't work there anymore. Yeah, so the next sunscreen I used up was this one from CosRx. This is the Aloe Soothing sunscreen. I've gone through so many of these. Like, I think I've probably gone through easily like 10 of the last several years, because these are really cheap if you buy them from YesStyles. I have a code with them now, which I'll have in my description box as well, and I'd really appreciate if you could use that. But yeah, I've gone through so many of these. These are just, if I use just slightly too much, it does give me a white cast, which is the only problem with this product. Other than that, I think it is really nice. It works really well with a lot of all my other products I've used so far. It also sits really nice underneath makeup, but I always make sure that if I'm gonna do makeup, I try to keep my sunscreen on for at least like 10-15 minutes as a minimum before I put on like my base. And by the time I then go ahead and start my makeup, it's giving me another 5 minutes, because it takes me 5 minutes just faffing around, to be fair. But it's a nice product. As much as I really enjoy this, I do want to try other products from Korean skincare that work well, that do not make me look greasy, because that's just embarrassing. But it would be very nice to have something else. This doesn't irritate my eyes, and I don't think this is a chemical sunscreen, because those sunscreens I have to be very careful with, because they tend to irritate my eyes in a really bad way, and it can just take me blinking the wrong way for my eyes to start getting irritated because of a sunscreen, and it burns. Okay, it burns, and it's not nice. Okay, especially when you're wearing makeup. Okay, it's not a nice feeling, but I'm glad that this is done. I have a perfume empty as well, and I'm so excited. It's this little tiny Miss Dior perfume. I got these, I think, from the Dior website like 2 years ago when I ordered from them. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I was just gonna like, I didn't like the smell of it, and then I left it for a long time. And I think just the things that I like have like, that's all sort of changed. And when I recently used this, I actually really enjoyed this, and I devoured it. I literally devoured it. I'm going to repurchase this one, as well as the J'adore bottle from Dior, because both of those perfumes are so good. There's a few other samples I've tried in the past, which I think the one was like Gris Dior, something like that, and there's another one that I really liked as well. There's a few that they've had that I've used up in this year alone that I really want to repurchase, like the full size bottles of, like the largest bottle I can of those, and this is one of them. And it's just such a cutesy little bottle too, and I'm so glad I used this up because this actually did smell really good and I really like this. And I'm glad that another like perfume is done. I am trying to continue on my perfume project pan. At the moment I'm currently trying to pan my like little Kayali like summer scents that she released, like I think 2023, I want to say, no, 2024. They came out last year in like July time, and I've got 4 of those, and I really want to use those up next, just because I feel like they're getting kind of older, but they're not like my most favorite scents, so I just want to kind of get them used up. But I'll see. But I really like this, and I'm really going to purchase this again, but I have to wait. I've been really well in terms of like not buying any perfume for the year, and that's been the best thing I've done, because every other category that I said I was going to do a no buy for, I flopped so bad. But perfume is the one thing I've stayed solid with, and I'm gonna hopefully stay that way until the end of the year and hopefully finish off some more perfumes. But let's see. There's 2 products I literally finished today. One of them is this set of lashes which I'm wearing today. I've already worn these like 3 times in the past, but it's getting to a point I don't really feel comfortable with wearing them anymore. So today is literally the last day I will be wearing these lashes, and that is it. They're gonna expire. I have so many lashes, it's actually crazy. But these I wore twice to my cousin's wedding event, and I hadn't touched them again in a very long time until yesterday when I did my makeup for a look that I've already posted over on TikTok, which will eventually make its way over on YouTube Shorts, and then today. And as much as I really like this style, I've used this 4 times, and normally I would only ever keep lashes like for 1 use and then toss them, but I've used them 4 times, and I think that's a good amount, and I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. I can now like get rid of these, so I will literally just put them back in this box, put them into the drawer, and show these as an empty, hopefully like my makeup empties at the end of the year. But I have so many other lashes as well that I don't need to like reuse these. I have like so many. My drawer is just so full of lashes, and I have one other set of lashes that I wore during the wedding in April. I wore them twice in those events, and I hopefully want to wear them 2 more times at the minimum, hopefully, before I can do the same thing with that as well. But it was literally just sat on my desk and it was starting to bug me, so I just wanted to get used up. So they're now used. And the other product that I used at this literally today was this Made by Mitchell blush, but these are the highlighting blushes, and this is the shade, never mind, this is the shade Clear as Day. I wasn't really intending to use these products up in this way. It was by accident. I had one that I used up already at some point like several months ago, and I started using it at the start of the year. Basically I just put a little bit like here and then put foundation on top of it, and basically gave me the same effect that like the e.l.f. version of Charlotte Tilbury's filter product gave, and it was like that glow from within look that you wanted. I used this once or twice as like a highlighter on top. I wasn't like the biggest fan, but it worked. But the main sort of way that I used this up was literally as like, I guess people call it underpainting, so I use it as like that. So I'd always put it on my like cheek sort of area and just put foundation on top of it. This foundation doesn't really like, you can kind of see it today a little bit because I mixed it in with the actual foundation, but normally you can't really see it that much because the foundation I'm currently using is like a satin finish, and it's like a medium coverage. I think if you've got like something that's a bit more sheer, then something like this would work really nicely underneath your makeup, because then it'll actually like show through your products. It's still, I'm glad that I was able to use this up. I have quite a few others actually, and it's going to take me a while, but I think this is the best way that I found. I've really enjoyed multi-using products, because 1, that means I actually get to use up some stuff, and 2, they would have just sat around collecting dust. Like if I didn't touch this, if I did not use this as the way that I did, I would have ended up just chucking it in the bin anyway, so it didn't really make sense to do that. And now that I found that these work really well in that sense, in that way of just like using them underneath, before I do my foundation. I'm going to continue using up, like, I think the 7 or 8 that I have in the same way. I think currently I've got like 3 that would count as highlighters that are part of my eyeshadow collection, liquid eyeshadow collection, but they don't make sense there. And then I have 3 anyway as like liquid highlighters, which I don't really feel like I need in that. And I got like colors like green and a purple, which, hello, what were you thinking? But to be fair, they would work really well if I do any creative makeup. Didn't think of that, but that would be kind of nice, and I'll be glad to have some more of these being used up. I don't know if I can actually manage to finish another one by the end of the year. It would be really nice if I could, especially if I end up doing more makeup more often, then I definitely could. And it would just be nice to have some of these empty, because these are kind of thick and they do take up a decent chunk of space in the drawers. I've also started using up one of the blushes as an like under eye corrector. This eye I didn't really put much on, but this is slightly better. In camera they do look more grey than they do in person, but it's worked really, really well as an under eye corrector, and I'd really recommend to use up products in other ways if you can, because it's really good, it's really useful in that sense. And also it means you can probably like get through certain products a lot faster in that way, rather than not, because if I didn't start using that product as an under eye corrector, I don't think I necessarily would have gotten around to using it as a blush. And even if I did, I probably would have only used it once or twice, not the amount of times that I've already used it as an under eye corrector. So I'm really happy with the progress I'm making. I'm really happy that I've started more to using products and trying to break away from that, like, if this product is only for your eyes, it's only meant to be used for your eyes nonsense, because that's not true. You can kind of do it. If it works in other ways, like, absolutely do it. It's just the advice I now try to follow. But yeah, that was like a really long spiel for something that was never that, but it's fine. That's literally all my makeup empties for the month of August. I'm glad I was even able to finish up these 10 products, because there was literally a point where like it was getting to like, I think it was like the 23rd, and I'd used up only like 3 things. I was like, what kind of an empties video would it be if I literally just rocked up and it's like 3 things? I don't know if people would even want to watch that, but maybe I don't really know. But that's everything for this month. I'm glad I used up all the things that I've used up. There's always usually like 1 month where I've used up so many products, and then the following month it'll be like just like a handful of things. But the main thing is that I'm still seeing products being moved out, and there's always something in this basket, and I think that's what sort of like keeps me going, because I like to go through this basket and just see everything that's empty, because it's satisfying. It's actually genuinely very satisfying. But that is literally it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll hopefully catch you next week with another one.